Yeah, so I'm recording it now. So thank you, Ken, for joining this MCT show number 3. We'll get there on the technical side. It takes maybe 100 times to do it correctly, but I'm very happy to have you and to have the participants. So.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation, and it's always a pleasure to see you and to talk to you.
Yeah. So me too, Ken, because I wanted to introduce you, saying a little story about us when we actually met in 2014 during our level 2 MovNat certification in Houston, Texas. I arrived in the US in Houston alone and was not sure, who to find in this hotel, and I found a French speaker, you. And I was like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? You speak French? And you were like, well, I'm doing the MovNat certification. So that was pretty cool to meet one Belgian and one French in Houston, Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. And it turned out to be quite a legendary edition of the certification. So many famous MovNatters came out.
Yeah, that was I think a special edition in 2014, simply because when you were checking the list of the level 2 workshops during the year, or I think this was the only one that was taught by Erwan and Vic at the same time.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it was also a combative afterwards with Vic. So yeah, it's still really fresh in my memory. When you mentioned 2014, I was like, what? Are we getting that old? So
yeah, and it was hosted by Urban Movement by Cameron. Who was in the instructor team, who was starting also in our team. So I think in the group now people know some names because they are active now. You have Eric Brown.
Stefano.
Sorry?
Stefano
Tripney was in the group. We had we had many names that are active in the MovNat community. So, and you, of course. So
yeah. Maybe less known in the whole community, but I'm definitely trying my best here in Belgium.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to have you, so people can know you a bit better. You have been a long distance runner for a long time, and you did your level 2 with me, and then we met again during your level 3 last year in Vienna, Austria in July. So a bit about you and your running career, your sports background, and what led you to join MovNat as well.
Okay, so a bit more about me. I was not always. I'm now officially like personal trainer. Don't really like the title, but it's what refers to people, of course. But I wasn't always in this job. I was working on an engineering department. But like it goes, I was always very sporty. I was cycling and running. And from the running, I soon got bored from running on the street. So I went to running trails and in the mountains. And because I wanted to improve, I wanted to see what was possible. So I started to study anatomy, physiology, and from one course into the other. And before you know, you're in a course like how to start your own business with all the knowledge that you gathered. And I was like, this is more fun than sitting here. I had a job on the road, but it evolved to a desk job. So I wasn't happy at all. And to look back now, it was like a really depressing time. But actually, part of me is glad that I went through that, because I wouldn't know what I know now if I didn't go through this phase in my life. And it's part of the whole experience. So from the trail running and getting in touch with nature, mountains, soon I discovered MovNat. And this was just so complementary to everything I did that I definitely wanted to explore this more. And that's why I was so interested in learning MovNat and the system and more about natural movement. And once I did the level 1 certification, I was really convinced that actually, because it was like clear tools and clear instructions, that you really could help like most people of the population, young, old, everything in between. And that really, that approach really excited me, and I thought that was really useful. So up until this day, I use it almost daily. Not every session is natural movement, but there's always things in the warm up, in the cool down, maybe sometimes in between, depending from person to person. But it always comes back, and there's always touching points. And then next to that, we have the more natural movement sessions, which can be indoors or outside. And actually now, since we're stuck to the house, I took the time to develop our outdoor space a little bit more. So
we'll get back to that. And
okay.
I want to understand your journey first of all. So when did you do your level 1? Who was the instructor? How was it?
Okay.
A bit more about this, and then we'll come back to your present.
Absolutely. So the level 1, I think, was about, it must have been 2 years before the level 2, so 2012. It was in Belgium, in Leuven, instructed by Joseph Bartz back then.
Okay.
And then from there, the level 2. I actually had a broken foot. I broke a bone in my foot.
Wow.
the day before the level 1. I was like, oh, what I'm gonna do? So okay, I spoke to Joseph. I joined anyway, and had to redo a few things like the jump and stuff. But overall, I was happy still to be part of it. Then, because it was in 2012, it was much less known, and definitely here in Belgium. So then a couple of years went by, and I grabbed the chance to do this level 2 in the States.
And how did
because there was another day with Erwan. Sorry?
Yeah. How did you discover MovNat? Because you know, the topic, one of the topics of this MCT show is for people to understand and to remember how they got interested in it, and so how people can be interested in their classes. You know, for every local business to grow a little bit more, to understand how can they touch the people, you know? So how did you define it?
So first of all, the first time I heard about it is I read it in the newspaper. In the newspaper, they sometimes have like a Saturday edition with, this is something fashionable, this is something new in the fitness. So because I was a big interest of mine, I was reading this weekly, and that's how I discovered it. I heard about it for the first time. Then I happened to know some people that were also going to do this level 1 here in Belgium. So then I heard like, they're coming to Belgium, and that's how I actually got into it. But it was those days, and especially here on this side of the world, it was not known at all, and it was even looked upon a little bit like, this will pass, or this is just another crazy thing, or it will just blow over. But somewhere I knew that no, this might be something else. This might be bigger than it seems like.
Okay, that's an
also because it's so complete, because there's so many things inside.
So that's interesting. Because we have seen that over and over in Europe. You know, the one what you described. I think in the US is the same, and in other regions as well. People at the beginning are like, oh, what is it? You know, I don't really know. It looks weird. Do you think it's the mentalities are changing because of the local people? local MCTs, or because of MovNat as a system evolving, or bit of both? What do you think of this?
I think a bit of both, definitely. But I think the first word, so first thing that people hear about it, might be more of the push from MovNat itself. And then because there's a seed is planted, or you know, when you want to buy a car and you never see a red Renault or something, and then suddenly you see them everywhere. So once you heard about it, you keep your eyes more open, and then you notice more local people doing it. And I think until you really got a taste, even a small thing, it's very hard to know or to feel what it is. Because we had a discussion during our level 3 seminar as well, that it's say it in 2 sentences, and yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle, huh? But I can show you in 2 minutes, and you might be convinced. You see, so yeah, I think there the local people come more into play, to make it accessible, and to make it for everyone, because they also post clips, or they do like a taster class, or like sometimes, okay, people join for another class, and I bring little movements in, then they go like, now you know, we have a class like that, join us. So.
Yeah, I think this is what Chi last week was saying about just doing a class without naming it, without mentioning it's a MovNat class, and then people asking, what did we do, or what was it? And then he's saying, well, that was some MovNat moves.
Yeah. What I personally notice as well that works very well, actually, but it's also promoted in a good way. I teach like 4 times a year. I do a natural movement introduction session of 1.5 hours, 2 hours in the Belgian Vivo Barefoot shop. So I know the owners very well, and it leans very close to their philosophy. And actually, for them, it's something extra. Like, oh, look, you're new to the shoes, or maybe you're experienced, you wear them for a longer time. But how would you use your body? How can you strengthen? How can you improve? And it works well together. Of course, they just want to sell the shoes, but they promote the workshop a lot. And each time there, people are so enthusiastic, and they're so happy afterwards. And yeah, it's always a success.
Yeah, that's a very good initiative. I've done the same in Paris, in a shop called Comme Pieds Nus in Paris, where we partner for the workshop, which was to be done this weekend in Paris, but it's postponed now. So obviously they have the same crowd of people who want to run barefoot, to run with minimalist shoes. They're interested in more natural approach. So it makes sense to partner up. And what they wanted me to do is to do a conference, like a mini conference one evening before the start of the workshop, like a free conference when I could talk about, what is MovNat for 1 hour or 2 hours. And then people who can join or not join the workshop this time would actually know what it is. So yeah, that's a similar thing. But how many days did you do?
I did about 3 or 4 now, I think. Yeah, and they're all like 1.5 hours to 2 hours, depending on of the size of the group. It's always relatively small groups, like 8-10 people, because it's not such a big place. But I noticed what triggers people as well is when you mention how to get started in your own house, how to get started when you go for a walk. You don't need anything else. So this and also the movement beyond the limits of sports, because people think I have to move more, I have to exercise, but it's like, we know it's not true. There's so much more movement, and that's what also what I see, there's some positive feedback onto this.
And how did you promote it? How was it? The promotion, was it a joint promotion with the shop? How long before it was?
It's a joint promotion, but because people coming daily in the shop. So I saw that actually most of the people came through the shop. Others that sometimes come to my classes or wanted to join a class for a long time, but didn't know really what, and they're interested in certain type of things, and I might send them there as well. So I say, okay, let's join. But I noticed more than usually couples were joining. So husband and wife, they were like, okay, let's go to this, and that was always good to see. And in an introduction like that as well, there was more than in regular classes, also because it's a one-off, maybe because it's a taster, people were curious. There were more people from like, I usually only do CrossFit, or I'm a yoga teacher, I want to see what this is. So, and that's good. There's a positive thing, because they will also, no, I went to this workshop, and so when I do, normally next weekend was one coming up, but I'll have to move it. But always when I do one, I make sure to have a next day planned as well.
Perfect.
So yeah, because the last editions were sold out because we are limited in space. So we always have a date like, look, join the next one. If it's really popular, we might do 2 weeks behind each other, but otherwise we keep a few months in between just to get people warm, to build a bit of expectations and tension. So
yeah, so I think this is a very great way to promote yourself and the shop, because you mentioned the couples going to your event. I can easily imagine that one of them is like, I like to do shopping, I like to buy new shoes, and the other one is like, hey, I knew that this Ken MovNat guy was operating in our region, so why don't we go to the shop so we can check new shoes, and at the same time we will meet this guy.
Exactly, and I notice as well that people stay afterwards, because first they're interested in the shoes, then they see, there's a workshop, and then when it's finished, actually I want to implement this more in my life, so they go back to the shoes. So it's for both of us, it's a winning situation.
So yeah, that links to the first question I had for you, which was is it only MovNat that helps the community, or is it the community that helps MovNat? And you replied a bit of both. I think what you can do locally is to contact those little companies like Vivo or other brands, and at MovNat headquarters, what would be nice is that we could push forward those discussions on the maybe national level or international level to ease up on the conversations once the MCTs will approach them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What do you think of this?
Because now, like for example, I don't know if this was the thing you're thinking of, but I have a good friendship with the owner of the shop, so I can come there for free. Sometimes I feel a little bit guilty, like okay, I use the space. He doesn't ask me for money. He promotes the workshop. It's full. It's sold out. We have another date, and he promotes it again. So then I'm really happy, like, people are buying the shoes afterwards, or they're interested in the shoes. So, but if there was something we could offer or promote for them instead of or something, that would also always, or we could help each other some way, that would always help, of course, because then you can easily reach out to more shops, more people as well.
Well, they also know that definitely if you have people in your classes, you know, if you have regular clients and they're like, oh, I was wearing Nike Air Max all my life, but I would like to change. You can easily tell them, well, you go to this shop and they will get
Yeah,
they will get 15% with my code, and you know there's a way that they can benefit from your activity, and the more you will be known, the more you will be trusted, the better they are. So I don't think they are doing everything for free, because nothing is free in this world.
no, no.
But yeah, we have a comment from Krista. This sounds like a great partnership, Ken.
Doesn't cover it, and y'all need me to set up another requirement for your team, maybe.
I think Eric's sound is on.
Yeah, we have Eric joining. Eric is muted. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. I was saying that Krista said that sounds like a great partnership. Do you have suggestions for other types of partnership if an MCT doesn't have a shoe store like that near them?
Well, that's a good question, and yeah, I was definitely also thinking about what other partnerships can I do or can I go on, and it's not so easy because I think in some way, maybe sometimes as a starter, it could be helpful to offer a very short clinic or mini session for free to see what it is. Maybe even if you think about maybe another shop or a community, so the people that are in the organization at least know what it is, and then they can help you to promote it as well, because it comes back to these two sentences that is really hard to explain what it's all about. So if they feel, if they have the experience, it might be easier for them as well to join. On the other hand, I worked together with a few companies that do events for companies. So they have an event office. So for example, I did some for Lidl. I don't know if you know the shop Lidl, the chain, yeah. It's just one example. So they have a lot of food shops around Belgium and anywhere else in Europe. So they did like, okay, we do a big team building once a year, and we have like some singers that come, but we also want to have some activities, sports activities. So yeah, let's do a football tournament, but we want different things as well. So there, I'm actually what I promote. I don't call it specifically natural movement or MovNat, but a little bit more into what I was saying, like move beyond the limits of sport. Integrate movement into your daily life. You're gonna learn things that you can do in your living room, things that you can do when you go for a walk. Develop rediscover your natural movement abilities. So things like this trigger a little bit more because it's a smaller step for people, and because sometimes they offer boot camps, because everybody heard the word boot camp. But what I notice is when you come to a company, I'm doing a boot camp. So, for example, there's 30 people or 25 people, only 5 people will join. Only the 5 people that do normal boot camps are very sporty. They will go. The other ones will go, oh no, I'll just go to the bar now. I'll have a drink. I will watch maybe from a distance. But if you find something where everybody can join, young, old, if you're working in an office or you're driving around, if you incorporate little games and things, then there's still room for progressions as well. Because I know for companies like that, I try to incorporate partner games because it's good team building. So movement partner games like under with the stick, over with the stick, drop the stick, pick it up. And if some people are really getting into it, and then, okay, I can make them crawl because they will be open for it. They will want to show, they want to do something. So for them, I go a little bit further. You can spot like who's really giving it and who's holding back a little bit. And so, but I noticed things like that. You can have a bigger group, and then you can make more people happy for events like that. So here in Belgium, we have, probably it's everywhere, we have certain companies that organize these events for other companies, like team buildings or yearly conferences. And actually it's by contacting them, or they contacted me because they saw my website, that I'm also involved. And for now, there's only a few a year, like maybe 3-4 a year, but it's definitely something that once the whole Corona thing is over, I see like evolving more and more, because people are investing more and more in health of their employees. And I noticed that the budget is still lower than for other trainings, like for computer learning and this and this and this, but I don't think they can stop it. I think it will come, and they will not, the budget has to come, because they want to keep people healthy, they want to keep people motivated to go to work, and I think that they will invest more and more into it. Maybe now it will delay a bit with the whole situation, but I'm sure that it will come back. Or maybe it works better, because now I see people out everywhere, walking, cycling, running. So yeah, who knows what comes, but I definitely see a future in that.
So what you are talking about is very interesting. It's called corporate events. And
yeah, that's a word.
Yeah. And this is something we were thinking about for quite some time. Of course, it's always a question of resources, how much time we can put into it. And I've seen that in France, for example, some people already do some mini corporate events using MovNat. They were asking us whether we can do it, how can we do it, but you already, you gave a great response. So either you partner with local shops, or you are interested in working directly with corporates. What do you think? Why do you think MovNat could fit so well to make the companies have their employees fitter and healthier? And why MovNat would be able to be the good system to be implemented in offices, for example?
Well, it's because it's very versatile. It's very versatile. Of course, we wouldn't do hanging and climbing there from the first day, but we can definitely talk about it when at the end of the session, we can talk a little bit more what MovNat is, what natural movement involves, and what it can do for you. On the other hand, why it would work well at the moment, or at that specific moment, is because there's a lot of progressions and regressions, and it can go from very low level, low impact, just gait and walking, and so many different options in walking, just walking, sitting, standing, transitions between sitting, between standing. So there's so many possibilities from a very low level, and how intensive you can go, actually. So, and that's the big strength.
Yeah, I think there is two things we can develop in corporate is the theory and the practice. We could imagine doing some theory sessions where you present what MovNat is to the management. Okay, so they know. You can invite like COOs, operation guys, team leaders, and have their input on what they would need. so they would understand what MovNat has, you know, the skills they could do in the offices, like you said, maybe no climbing, but a lot of ground movement, walking, crawling, this kind of stuff. And you could get their feedback to design like a very specific program to their employees based on the building they have, based on maybe they have some grass areas, and then you can do some practice sessions. So that would be, you always need an approval from the management, you know, in corporates.
I think for what it could be a big plus is also to mention the movement snacks for people to, okay, because everybody agrees now after a certain time you have to get up. Every manager would say, okay, yeah, I agree. Nobody will say no, they have to sit down and work. So some small routines, some small movements that allow for some bit of stretching, reaching, and you can name it whatever you want, but like the movement snack is very speaks to the imagination. Like, oh yeah, this.
Excellent.
So that could be a big advantage.
That's a great point, Ken, because yeah, the movement snacks are so important, but the problem with snacks is people don't think about it. So
Yeah,
you could change the culture of the company, you know, by theory sessions and implementing a process. You know, companies, they have projects, they have project managers, and they have process managers. So if it's implemented in their culture, in their corporation, that every half an hour the team leader has to check on them, or every hour, like, have you done your movement snacks? What have you done? Because they would have maybe a sheet, you know, from MovNat, like those are the top 5 snacks you have to do during the hour, and the team leader would check on them, like, I understand you don't feel like it, but I will ask you to go to the room, do a few kneeling position, a few reaches, and then come back. You know, that could be done over time. You know, that's a big culture change. What do you think?
yeah, exactly. And you can even subdivide it into, okay, you take a little bit more time, then you can go to a room, or you can go outside or wherever. But then there's things that take less time. You can do at your desk. You can give your wrist some attention. You can give your back some attention, your shoulders. That are actually people will not laugh when they see you do that.
Yeah,
Maybe in the beginning they will smile, but they're also very approachable. You don't have to squat on your chair or things like that to maintain a certain health in your joints.
well, look, let me tell you one thing, Ken. At the beginning, everybody was laughing when people were wearing masks and they wanted to shake hand, and people say, don't shake my hand. You know, they were like, what are you doing? In Asia, it's perfectly fine to wear a mask and not shake hand.
Yeah,
In Europe,
exactly.
it's something weird, and in the US, I guess the same. But now, over weeks, only a few weeks, people understand this concept. So that would take a few weeks as well for corporates to understand that as a team leader, not only they have to check on KPIs that are IT related, you know, that there are performance related to their performance on the computer, but also, are they healthy? Will they keep healthy? Meaning they won't be sick. They will stay in the office. That can be a new KPI for team leaders, and MovNat can definitely play a role, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. And when I think back I didn't sit at the office for a very long time because I wasn't that happy there. But at least, yeah, maybe a year or 2 years maximum. But I remember studying everything about the human body, and then I was looking around, and people were pale. The air conditioning was on. There was natural light, but people closed the curtains, and they were constantly going like, "Oh, my back," and then like this, and getting through the day. The time is gone. Oh, they go home to do more sitting. So yeah, I think as soon what could help actually is to say, okay, try this for 3 weeks. Try this for 3 weeks. See what it does with you. Make them fill in a chart, like from 1 to 10. How do you feel today? How does your back feel today? Give a quotation from 1 to 10. Do it every week. And yeah, maybe awesome. Because when you write something down, you see the difference, and maybe it might help or pay more attention to it.
I love the grade idea of from 1 to 10. And if like I said about project managers, they have either projects in red or projects in green. All the parameters are going to green. On the health side, no back pain, no neck pain, no wrist pain. That would be awesome to see that those green lights.
Exactly, and then as a MovNat, as a company, you also have something back. Look, everybody after 3, 4, or the time period, the first initial time should be short, because 3 weeks, I can do 3 weeks, and let's see. And if you go from just sitting to incorporate MovNat snacks for 3 weeks, there will be a difference. So as a company, it's great to have this back and to show, like, look what we can do.
Well, I can tell you that before I was really a corporate guy, so I know this world quite well. And now that I left and I was traveling and doing my workshops, I was not feeling it anymore. This stay in your seat all the time. And now that I'm doing some more work on the laptop, because we work on many online solutions, I feel the need, every half an hour or so to get back. Behind me, I have a carpet and I do some ground movement. How often do you do that when you have to work on your laptop? What is your routine?
Yeah, so to just pick up on that, before this whole situation, last year we did an online healthy habits program for 8 weeks. And we had some people, so I had to write programs, I had to prepare talks that I was giving online, I had to prepare sessions and things, I had to everybody had a accountability document as well. And so I was doing a lot of computer work compared to my normal daily life. And it was a program, was a couple of weeks. I was like, what is this tension? I was like, this is
Hello, Ken.
Have to, my worry is more a little bit that I do too much, that I join too much, and that I have to, calm down. So.
Sorry, Ken, I've lost you. I don't know if it was my connection or your connection. Can you hear me? Looks like I have internet.
No problem. We're able to see and hear you, no problem.
Okay. I think Jerome is back, or is Sherry's back? There he is.
Yeah, can you see and hear me?
Yes.
Was the meeting cut or not? Because I was cut for 2 minutes or something.
No, we were still here.
All right. Okay. So thanks, Eric. I heard your voice. I think it was Eric, right? Eric,
yeah, no problem.
Eric?
Sorry about that. What was the question?
No. I heard your voice. So I was like, thank you for filling in while I had
no problem. Good
internet issue. Thanks, man.
No problem.
All right. So, Ken, I'm sure I lost a bit of your brilliance here, but I think you were talking about. Tell me.
Yeah, we were talking about how do I implement movements.
Yeah. So, if you got this bit, we won't make you.
Yeah, I was saying that often my fear is that I move too much, and then actually.
And I guess my connection is not good. Change here.
To feel tired. No, not good.
I heard not good.
Over those and start from scratch again, and from the very basics, and just move up the line again. So I know exactly what you mean. It's like you get to go through it again, discover new things as you just go over that ground again. So it's fulfilling. You know, the lights come on, you learn new things as you do it over and over again. So that's a really good.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And you get the feeling you get in touch with your body. You get the feeling that you actually listen to your body.
Yeah, when you slow
once in a while
things down. Yeah.
Yeah. Jerome, all okay?
Yeah. I'm so glad that we have also Eric jumping in. You know, it's called MCT Show for a reason. It's not my show, and I'm happy if the other instructors can jump in the discussion and learn from each other. You know, that's so good to see. So I don't know, my connection is very unstable right now. So I try to keep up with you guys, but can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see every 5 words of yours. It's like and cut.
Okay.
It's hard for me to direct the conversation this way, but anyway, and it's unstable again. Adaptation, that's our keyword, right? We have to adapt.
Yes. Going back to that, it's like something down is another one to skip stairs on, you know, for agility and such. Or being outside, you're walking past some smaller trees where you can hang, or do some deep squats while holding onto a tree. You know, there are like a whole ton of opportunities around these buildings, these campuses that we do our corporate work on. So a lot of stuff out there. The curves to balance on.
And that's a nice thing to see, that people open their eyes and look at their office or campus, well, in their own home or on the street, or where they go for walks in their local parks.
Yeah, so it's sort of like as an assignment for those groups. If you're doing work with them, you can challenge them to find those areas and share those areas with other people who are in their campus or building program. That way they get to swap information and maybe even get to hang around the same spots or pass someone that they know doing the same type of movements at an area, that type of thing. More social.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, thanks guys. Thanks Eric and Ken. So I think I will cut it short because my connection is very not good. So but I think we did already a great conversation, and I appreciate Ken. And now that I'm saying that I'm cutting, I guess the connection is good. Right?
It's always like that.
Like this, right? Eric knows well, you know, in the IT department, it's always like that.
Oh yeah.
It's like, okay, that's over. Okay, so since for me the chat restarted, so I lost questions or I lost comments. So I don't know if we had any questions, because we like to finish this hour by a few questions from the people connected. So do you see, Eric or Ken, did you see some questions popping up?
No, no,
And I'm out again. Okay.
maybe people have questions.
You can either drop it in the chat or you can email that to contact@movnat.com, and we will work on putting together shows for around topics that would be of interest and use to our MCT community. So any last words you want to hit us with real quick, Ken?
Yeah, I wanted to share my idea. Actually, of the walk the talk. So as a trainer, we want different things. We want also to be generally prepared, like what we stand for and what we teach. We want longevity, of course, and we also wanna walk the talk. So we wanna actually experience what we preach, and there I see, okay, what can we do, and we train the system, we practice, but I like to mention as well what helped me a lot is to set sometimes little challenges and focus on one thing for a little bit. Still don't forget about all the rest, and still work over this big line, but sometimes go a little bit further in one thing, and from time to time I'm still always pleasantly surprised how adaptive our body is. So how if I say this right, we are. And I like to compare this with, like, you know, the Swiss Army knife. So maybe all the tools that are there are your skills and talents. Yeah, but maybe sometimes the tool is missing, like a bottle opener. Oh, we don't have but we can fall back on different skills. So maybe we can open the bottle with the screwdriver, because we have this background of so many other skills and practices that we do. And of course, when the tool is not there, and yeah, we have to open 10 bottles with this screwdriver, we get better and better at this as well. And that's the adaptation that takes place. So I wanted to leave you with that and think about it. Because it can be, I can give many examples, like for example, the studio that you see. It took a long time, but I've built this myself. So I wanted to I didn't have the building skills or anything. So, but I had some friends who gave me advice and everything. And okay, I figured it out. It took a year and a half, but it's there. And like I saw Jerome or Danny sometimes posting like how many natural down to it. So put yourself a challenge from time to time, train for it, prepare for it, and then go back and see what you learned. And this Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.